Welcome back. Keeping your family healthy with new moves to make that could potentially save a life in a cardiac arrest, to helping a person who's choking or even overdosing on opioids. The American Heart Association announced recommended changes just last week. These are guidelines meant to help everyday people respond in an emergency. We have one of the writers of the new updated guidelines right here in studio. You see him here, Dr. Ash Panchal from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. Thank you for getting up early.
My pleasure.
To do this. So can you start high level and talk about the choking guidelines, the old versus the new?
Yeah, so one of the biggest changes that happen in these new guidelines is really reevaluating the idea of how we manage choking. And so looking at the new data, they discovered that one of the best things to manage choking is actually back blows. So the new recommendations has 5 back blows followed by 5 abdominal thrusts to get that foreign body out.
Okay, so you do the back blows first. Don't worry about hurting somebody?
Yeah, well, when they're choking and they're not breathing, they need you. So you're not going to hurt them at this point. Okay. Now, one caveat to this. So with the back blows and the abdominal thrust, that's for adults and children. For our infants, now they're really gentle and very vulnerable. So for that population, we do the back blows, 5 back blows, followed by 5 chest thrusts with the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Right? That way we protect their bellies.
Okay. All right. So you talked about the back blows, those are choking. How can we help people who we might come across who might be having an opioid overdose? First talk about the signs and then what we should be doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. So one of the things that we really focused on this time in the guidelines is understanding the big impact of the opioid overdose. And with that in mind, our basic life support now integrates into it all the things that we need to do for opioid overdoses. Now, when we think about an opioid overdose, oftentimes we see signs. We see people who are not breathing normally, not talking normally, are drowsy, have pinpoint pupils, things like that, which are signs. And let's be honest, one of the major signs is things around them. And so those are all things that would tell us that we should be thinking about, number one, calling for help, call 911. Yes. And if they've suddenly collapsed and they're not breathing, start CPR. But otherwise, if they're still breathing, we can use naloxone and Narcan to help save them.
I was going to ask you about that. So you brought in your mannequin.
Yes.
And so you're going to show us how to do some CPR on somebody who is in an overdose.
Well, more like cardiac arrest, right?
Okay.
So when we think about our families, about 80% of cardiac arrests actually happen in the home. These are our moms, our dads, our aunties, anybody, right? And so when someone suddenly collapses, the first thing we should do is call 911 and then put our hands on the chest and push hard and fast. So I'm going to show you guys how to go about doing this. So literally, the first thing you do is call 911, put your hands in the middle of the chest, and just push hard and fast. And just like this, I'm not going to do anything fancy here. And this is my CPR that I need to do to save a life.
And so it's interesting you say it's at home with family.
Yeah.
And now's the time to get that training because we're heading into the holidays.
Most definitely. It's funny because I tell a lot of my fellows and trainees, hey, teach everyone during Thanksgiving. Everyone's around. You will be that guy. And that's okay. It's okay to bring these topics up. These are hard topics, but these are our family members. When we have this many people having challenges, our ability to use our hands to save someone's life. So keep in mind, people, that when you put your hands and you're pushing, your hands at that moment are their heart. And you're literally saving their lives and hopefully bringing them home neurologically intact.
So let me ask you, I mentioned at the top of this segment that you were one of the writers of these new guidelines.
Yes.
Why now? Why give us more information now? What should we know?
The great news is that American Heart Association has been doing this since 1966, regular intervals. And with the exponential growth of all the knowledge, we need to take all this stuff and put it into something that's implementable. And so these guidelines actually train millions and millions of healthcare providers and lay people to be able to do the right thing with the right tools. And that's why the AHA dedicates to doing that.
And it's interesting that you've given us tools for choking, cardiac arrest, and an opioid overdose, because those are things that we just see.
Yeah, and those are the things that are right on the front lines, right? So the AHA guidelines spans everything from first aid all the way to what we do in hospital for resuscitation. So for us, though, this guideline really focuses on the layperson and really talks a lot about what we can do just as normal people.
And before we let you go, we can go to the American Heart Association website to find out where we can get a class.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Panchal, for coming in this morning.
My pleasure.